Hello, everybody. We are live and we are the women of Women Matters. At least 4 of us are here today and maybe a 5th one will come. And today we want to talk about what specifically we can do as women in service to the world. Because I believe, although some people say men and women are the same, I don't believe that. And I think there are some specific things women are normally better in doing and other things which normally men are better in doing. At least that's my opinion. And we can talk about it. It's open to discussion. But first of all, I'm Heidi Hornlein. I am here in the Wisdom Factory, and Women Matters is our series which is going on, the wisdomfactory.net. Please come there and see what is going on. We have another show with conscious aging. It goes on Friday, every Friday until April, not in Christmas time, but come on and see what we can offer. Many, many, many replays also of Women Matters, because today is the 10th episode. And we should have a new member. But before I introduce our old members, and first of all, Tammy.
Hi, everyone. I hope my audio is on because it's an honor to be here. It's interesting to have watched and experienced our progression over the last 9 episodes, and I really look forward to kind of re-anchoring what it is that we are looking to uncover and experience together and to share with the broader community and the broader world. And I guess I just want to add a little piece of what Bettina, who is yet to join us, is shared around. Yes, I think that as women we are different and we hold from men, but I think that there's a feminine principle that encompasses all of us, and that feminine principle might include listening or feeling into the whole or having a deeper sense of things. And I just wanted to include that in the framing of women and the feminine principle, because I think that I want to be careful about creating lines where people might not identify, because I think that we can, whether you identify as male or you identify as female, that there is a feminine principle that and activity that is done that is really powerful, and a little bit of the unseen world. So part of it is putting our finger on that piece of what it is to hold space and to listen and to feel into what is possible.
Yeah, thank you. Great that you entered immediately into what I have thrown out into the room. Monika, would you like to?
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm living in Bavaria. That's why my slang might be sound a little bit Bavarian, but I hope everybody can understand what I want to tell you. So I'm very honored and glad to get the invites by Heidi and to be in this wonderful circle of powerful ladies. And we had a lot of sessions already, getting inspired, especially by Tammy. What is very precious for me is that Tammy finds whatever what we are talking here. Tammy finds the structures to get it focused or get it to sum it up and make it handleable, easy to handle what we have been speaking about. And that's really wonderful. That's how you can go a step further. So I'm curious what we are talking about today, and glad to be part of it today.
Wonderful.
Well, I was talking about Tammy, but the wonderful thing is that Heidi has invented this circle of ladies and invited us to talk here and keep it going, and that's what you are doing. You are holding the space. So
thank you.
Yeah, thank you very, very, very much. So, and I get to know Dr.Viviane.
Yeah, are we meet yet?
I pass it over to you, please.
Well, thank you. Yes, women are unique, and as you said, I agree with you, Heidi. We can do things better. We're very powerful, and in many societies where it seems as though it's a patriarchal society, the woman is the backbone of that society, and really the men defer to the women without giving them the credit for that in many societies in the world. So I do believe that we are uniquely made to be able to sustain pain, for example, physical pain that men cannot. And that's why women give birth and men do not. But aside from the obvious, I have been involved in the women's movement since its beginning, way back, which dates me actually. But at the same time, I was very active in making sure that women were treated equally in another country, and as well as continuing to support the women's movement here in the United States. And so we are in grave jeopardy now in the United States because of the new administration coming in, which is totally anti-woman and is taking away the right to choose, the right to abortion, the right to, and Planned Parenthood is really in jeopardy and has been accused of doing atrocities, which they do not. So we are in great jeopardy as women in this country, and we need to form and consolidate a grassroots movement that will stand up in the next 4 years of this new administration, if it does come to be. So I'm very much in solidarity with women who want to make sure that we have equality, at least, if not to be recognized as the force of nature that we are. So that's my 2 cents. So thank you for listening.
Thank you. And I see Gertraud has come. Wonderful. So tell us your 2 cents. We're talking about the topic, what specifically can we women do in service to the world? But I have thrown out at the beginning what Bettina said, something that we shouldn't make so much difference between women and men. And Tammy has laid out the difference between feminine energies and masculine energies. Here I get the comment just from Bettina that she said, cannot make it. They cannot make Google Hangout work today. Oh, this is really a shame. So Bettina, we were just talking about you and about your words to say not to be so specific on women, but talk more about the women, feminine qualities or masculine qualities. And Leah, yeah. Tammy, Leah, I don't know why. She has very nicely put it together in the right perspective, let's say. So I give over to you, Gertraud.
Yeah, hi, Gertraud Wegst from Germany. I was the last 4 months or so, I was in a, so to say, a submarine to write our book about appreciation. And yeah, appreciation in firms, how to create flow, and so I just decided I will not do the other thing, and so I just pop in, and I'm not much prepared, and I'm just really wanted to be with you and to have that last conversation this year. So I'm very, very happy to be here. And I will not say much at the moment. We'll see how it goes later. For me, I mean, as you know, my topic is appreciation. And I think if we are not able to come from that genuine attitude or stance or whatever you call it, to have an appreciation for ourselves and our qualities, and now talking about female and male, but to have that genuine appreciation for people, then we will not get far. So to fight back is not the right thing. It's more like not, you know, like, how can I stay this who I really am in spite of whatever is out there, that I don't lose the contact to the appreciation for myself, and then act in the world and not just react and fight back. So that is for me a very important thing. And just in the face of things like that, how can we deal with it in a way that is bringing the things forward? Yeah. So yeah, at the moment I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, wonderful. We have created, it's a 10th episode, and I think it's a nice way to conclude it in this year. And then next year we will do a restart and we'll see where we are.
Yeah.
And
I just want to mention one more thing. I think we have talked about the new organizations and things like that, and I think we need to talk about new politics as well. It's the personal, the professional, and the political that we need to address.
I want to bind you back to what Viviane said before, and I don't know if you have heard it, about her concern of the women in America in the next years, let's say.
Yeah, I got the last.
If this is the way where we go today, I'm fine with it, you know. So I from this moment on, I leave the moderation and I leave to you. Whoever wants to jump in, jumps in. Okay.
Yeah, I'd also love to just underline some of what I heard Viviane say, and just there's a sense that I have, in particular in this group, of how much knowledge and wisdom we all hold. And when Viviane was speaking, of course, you can only get such a small amount from when someone's sharing, but I could feel that depth of commitment to uncovering this down pressing of women, and so I just wanted to shine a light on that, and just also say to Viviane how much I appreciate you for I can feel / sense how much your time and your energy has been committed to that, and it is a scary time to be. I mean, I'm in Canada, but I can still feel the waves of hate. And in the common social space between us. And I don't mean to put a red herring in here, but I just want to talk about a longer view of time, in a sense, of when societies were matriarchal, pre our current patriarchal history over the last few thousand years. And think about how ridiculous it is that women don't have this power, and in a sense our own kind of dominance. Not that I think the dominance is right on either end of the scale, but in this time, in thinking of how women have been subjugated, and even how we listen to women, I find even myself, I have some social constructs of clappers on my ears, and I have the sense of, oh, do you really know? There's this social conditioning around the weight of voices of women. And so that's really interesting. But just think back when we did have matriarchal, a strong matriarchal society, where it would have, because women could bring life through, and had this deeper sensing of the connection to the world, how it would have been impossible to consider that men might be dominant one day. And so I just wanted to kind of feel into that space, just to put a red herring out there for us to consider as well. And again, just Viviane, thank you for sharing those pieces.
Before you answer, I still go into it because I here monitor the comments of Bettina, and she said she can be with the comments now together with us. This is great, isn't it? Thank you to Roland Takaoka, who has developed this plugin so we can have comments from outside. She said, Bettina says, exactly, I find it much more interesting to cultivate both feminine and masculine qualities in all gender. That also includes transgender, etc. Too bad I cannot join. Yeah. Okay.
If I may make a comment here, I do believe that that every man and woman has a continuum of masculine and feminine qualities. In fact, every human being, if you look at the physiology or the physiological anatomy of every human being, we both have a masculine and a feminine side. So the left side is our feminine side, and the right side is our masculine side. And I often use it when with my patients in order to figure out, for them to figure out what's missing in their illness, why they are ailing when they're not actually allowing either the feminine or the masculine to come through, because a balance is needed. And balance is very important, both in men and women. And I think we women really admire a man who can be, excuse me, who can actually reach into his own feminine side and is able to emote and is able to identify his own feelings. So I really believe that it's important to have a balance. And that's just another input from me that I felt was needed at this time.
I would like to talk what Tammy said about matriarchat and patriarchy. could it be that we are, let's say, at the end of the patriarchy, and or we know that always it's going, the pendulum is going this way and this way and this way, and that it sort of has to get absurd before it really can change, just as an idea. And it might be this, the moment that it comes out so clearly that this is not the way how it can go on.
Yes. And, you know, in tagging on as well, again to some of Viviane's comments around what's happening in the US, I think it has gotten to the place of absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
And so how can we, actually just saying the obvious is a powerful statement at this point.
Yes, and also we have to watch our P's and Q's, mind our P's and Q's, because we've been threatened with, you know, being on a blacklist and so on. So we have to be careful about what we say.
Viviane, can you say who is we?
We women.
Oh, okay.
We women in the United States of America.
Hmm.
Can you make
So
it
I
a little
gather-
bit more clear what you are fearing? What that can be?
Well,
what
it's
you
hard
then?
for me to express my feelings because, you know, every day I stay away from the actual hardcore news because I get so upset by the insensitivity and the actual ridiculousness of what's going on in politics right now in the U.S. And I gather from what I can understand that none of you are in the U.S. Is that correct? Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. And so, you know, in fact, I'm thinking about going back to Canada. However, if those of us who are strong, who have a strong backbone, do not stand up, we're going to be in deep trouble. So, that are being organized, and I find it very hard to get involved as I was in the 70s, in the 60s and 70s, because you know, I'm established as a practitioner, and I'm not here to express my political views, especially with my patients, and especially living in an area that is pro everything that I detest, I have to say. So I have to be careful. And I'm not very good at holding back what I believe in and not expressing myself. So I get into trouble, you know, open mouth, insert foot. So I have to be very careful about that. But at the same time, something has to be done and someone has to stand up. And unfortunately, with what is going on, it's very hard to do so when you're just one voice. And I feel isolated where I am. I do not have the support of other sisters who would come together in this at this time. I haven't yet found a group that I could join that would be strong enough to come forward and speak up, other than answering emails online that I get personally and so on. So that's why I'm careful with my choice of words at this time. So please forgive me for that.
And I mean, it's courageous to do so here. I mean, we broadcast, you don't know who is going to watch. So,
Exactly.
so it's contradictory to what you just said, because I think that's a courageous thing.
Yeah. Do you think we are living in Europe here, or you in Canada? Is there any way we feel for you, Viviane, or for the people who are living in USA? But is there for us the same precaution? Or would, I mean, I don't have any, no, I say what I want to say, but do you think we are coming in those times which we in Germany already had some time ago?
Yeah, that we are coming to what times? I'm sorry, your
to
voice is...
we cannot say what we want to say, because otherwise we are persecuted or something.
Yes.
That we had, no,
Yes.
last century. So
we're back in an age before all of the laws that were passed to protect us are going to be possibly changed in history of maybe even 50 years. And that's what concerns me a lot. So solidarity with other women is really important. And I can't find myself able to talk about, you know, femininity and masculinity when there are much more pressing matters at hand right now. Do you understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
I have the question that arises. I cannot think about that in a near future. So you never know, but in a near future that we would have the same in Germany, but you never know. And my question is there anything that like European women can do to support the US women to I don't know. I don't have a clue at the moment, but maybe you do. So
well, you have a very powerful woman as a leader in Germany, and that's admirable that you have such a powerful woman leader in Germany. I wish we could have followed suit. However, case and there are ways that you can be supportive just by, for me personally, I'm being very selfish here, is to ask for individual support from any of you by calling me or getting in touch with me one-on-one, where being recorded live for television or for consumption. Because it becomes very difficult to express oneself. So I welcome any one of you, if you are interested in getting in touch with me. I don't want to put my phone number out there right now. I certainly hope it's not out there for the world to see. But you know how to get in touch with me.
You can email. Sure. I'm
sorry,
very
you're
open.
breaking up so bad I can't hear you.
I close everything else, so.
Yeah, and generally, in what do you see in America? Is there already a movement coming? You said you wouldn't do it anymore. I mean, you did it already. It's clear that, you know, that for me, that you don't want to enter actively anymore. But is there women groups coming up?
Is that what? I'm sorry. I don't know if it's...
If there are groups.
Really bad right now. Heidi, can you fix the audio?
I don't know. Maybe you have to make it louder, because I could hear everybody.
I didn't change any, I didn't touch anything. I haven't been able to join you on my desktop, so
okay.
I'm coming in, yeah.
So my question, I go nearer to the microphone, is there already a movement beginning of women in America?
I haven't found it yet. I'm looking.
Okay.
I have two thoughts that come up. I don't know if you know Harriet Lerner, who is a psychotherapist, and she has written the book Dance of Intimacy.
Yes, yes.
And in that, she says that in the face of change, I mean, she's talking about the family, but when somebody says, no, it's enough and we don't want that anymore, we want to change, or I want to change, that the whole system tries to hold the old stuff. So I mean, it's like I want to take myself out of these wheels, and the whole system, no, you come back. And so they do whatever they can to keep the old way. And that in the face of that, you know that you're on your right way, because they will double their efforts to bring you back. So it's like you have to go over a hill or even a mountain to make change happen. And the last weeks, I thought, so I was in the US on the day of election, and I was so happy to get out on the very day. And I really had that feeling as if the old system tries to do whatever it can to prevent change. And this is hard at the one side, and on the other side, it's a little bit like Heidi said, but when it does like this, it could be it's the last, the last part of history in that part, and that gives me hope that where the night is the darkest, the day is the closest, or something like that. So how would that be if just those people that are so scared to change because they think, I don't know, the Latinos or whoever, the refugees take over, that as if that was the end of the world, but that it doesn't last long, because it can't, when people stay to that and say, okay, no matter what, I'm standing still here and I'm going this way. So that change is not inevitable. That is my, maybe I'm just making that up, but I like that thought. And to support each other, to keep standing and not just moving back and say, okay, that was it, helpless and hopeless and whatever. It's not about fighting, it's about being true to myself and keep standing.
Yeah, not getting into doubt, no, and not getting downgraded again, but stay to our power, stay to our what we think is true, and that what we see already, where the future was going, and that it's still going there, but it's only has to go through another tunnel or something. You know, when we succeed to maintain this belief, then we can go on. When, as you say, when we lose the belief, now the women are again, suppressed, and oh God, what will that be, and so on. Then there is the much probability that it will be like this. By the way, I'm reading in German a very good book. I have it in Kindle edition, Die Gefühle. I have forgotten the woman who is writing it, but it makes it very clear that you have 4 or 5 reactions. The one is when you say this is wrong. The next one is, this is sad. This is, no, what was it? Sadness comes out of it. Then the other is, this is disastrous. I now have to translate it even to, it shouldn't be, you know. This shouldn't be is one of the worst ones because it's generalized and it ends up in fear. And fear is blocking the energy to change for anything. And then the last one, the one is, it's all okay, all okay. You know, this is not good neither because it creates illusion. And then the next one is, I am wrong. And this also is blocking everything. So probably the best situation I catch myself now is to say, this is wrong. And this makes wrath, anger, and anger has the power to change something. So I'm halfway through the book, and it's really, really, really interesting how we can use, in a good way, the feelings and how they can come into our way when we interpret them in a way which is counterproductive. So just came up to me as a point. I can meet up. You to talk, and I tell you who it was. Okay.
So I'd love to put in there too. It just a sense of, there's the consensus reality, like we agree what our reality is, although it's not as conscious as it could be. And also the Panopticon, the idea of the Panopticon of, you know, there was an experiment in jails where they just put cameras. I can't remember the whole story, so I'm going to butcher it a little bit. But just the power of knowing that you're being seen. Viviane spoke to that. Like, you can't really say what you want to say because someone might be listening that could come after you, right? And that is a very real fear that keeps us stuck in a place. And so there's a couple of things there. You know, how can we stand together? How can we build, you know, and maybe not everything is just for instant broadcast. A lot of the stuff that I do is not instant broadcast, in a sense, so that we can decide what it is that we want to say and consciously put it out there, kind of slowing down that process of communicating so that we can decide what it is that we have our experience, decide what we want to say, be able to reflect back on what it is that we're saying, and then choose to put it out. I think it's valuable as well to consider in creating this very deep sort of self-created media, co-created media with others. I think it's useful to have a step in there if it might be something sensitive or we're really going to go deep. But yeah, I think that ways that we can come together and stand in solidarity, as well as you know, push into those spaces that Gertraud was talking about, and being able to really understand together and stand together, because there's very powerful things that are happening in the world today, and it's all going kind of to Scheisse, as one might say. But there's this beautiful opportunity for us to say, how do we take our power back? How do we take our collective power back? How do we use our voices to be able to actually speak to the deeper underlying issues that are giving rise to this fascism? That, yes, we are seeing that in the States, but we're seeing it in other places in the world as well. As well as the tightening noose of an economy that is going awry, that's taking the power away from everyone. Like many people are disempowered based on their economic reality, myself included. Mm-hmm. So how can we build ways to be able to be together in solidarity and use our voices together, and in a sense step into the unknown. There's an unknown element because we're learning.
Well, I find it very frustrating for myself, because I have taken the stance of being totally non-political for many, many years now that I've been in the United States. And I've felt comfortable and safe within that. And so it's a double-edged sword here. And so, Tammy, I resonate to everything you're saying, and at the same time, this is why I don't join your group very often, because I don't want to be put in the spotlight about what's really going on in terms of politics. But we are political people. Politics is part of our humanity, you know, and there's no way you can separate the person from the politics. So I chose instead anonymity and not getting involved. And that has been good in one sense, and yet at the same time disempowering in another sense. So the only way that I think this could work for me, as I look at just retiring from the scene completely, is for me to choose not to be in and not to be visible in any group such as this, not to have anything broadcast. Really, I'm just one little person in one little place, and I have no real power to do anything. And so that's fine. I accept that, and I'm very happy with that. And the anonymity is good for me. So this is why I choose silence.
Yeah, I think it's very understandable. And you know, that's when we do podcasts, we logically cannot go into the depths, because we don't know who is listening. And this is clear that these things which you are talking about, they should be in a, let's say, protected space, you know, and Tammy said it before too. That's clear. My intent was to create these things, these conversations between women, just inspire others to you know, to see what we are thinking or feeling and living and so on, to get an idea that they are not alone, and they could also join a circle like this. But for doing really,
you know, I agree with you, Heidi, and at the same time, I have asked you personally for support, and it's not possible. Your time zone, my time zone, for some reason, I don't feel that I'm able to reach out and be heard and be supported. And so there are gaps here. There is the intention, but the intention is not followed through. And I have to be very honest about that. I mean, on a personal level, it would be nice to get support, but I'm not getting it. And maybe it's because of the logistics of time and space where you're located and where I am located. At the same time, where there's a will, there's a way. There's always a way when we make up our minds. I think, Tammy, you and I are in the same time zone. And perhaps we could get in touch with each other and support each other if that's something that you would like, although I feel that in the circumstances, I probably need more support than you do. And I don't like inequality. I always like to be able to give as much as I receive, at least. It's a wound right now within me. And I'm speaking honestly from that wound. And I hope that resonates to that.
Viviane, that was my question. for me, it's the first time I hear it. So that was my question. How can we support you? And so that's, I think the time zone is not the problem in itself. I mean, we need to just have a smaller time slot, but if I know in which way.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
If I know in which way, then let's talk.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, it's one thing to say, I'm here for you. It's another thing to actually reach out to those who are not used to asking for help.
Okay.
Like me, who is always there for others, who has helped people to heal and continues to help people to heal. I'm always there for others, and I'm not used to saying, you know, I need help. And when I do, help is not forthcoming, unfortunately. People say they want to, and I'm going to be very brutal about that. People say they want to help, but you know, what they say and what they do are two different things. That is exactly what causes illness or dis-ease to begin to develop. It's the dichotomy within oneself, that we each have to look within us and say, am I living authentically? Coming from my integrity, am I being authentic? Because as long as a person is not being authentic, pathology will set in. And it's a very dangerous stance. And so I'm saying that because I want the good for everyone out there. I'm not here to put down anyone for their belief system, because behind all whatever stance anyone takes is the human aspect. You know, we are spiritual beings having a human experience right now, and we need to reach out to each other as at the fundamental need of humanity, which is what? To be understood, to be validated, to be appreciated, to be seen, to be heard. Those are all fundamental needs that we have, men or women. It doesn't matter. It's not about gender. Right now, we women support each other more than ever, more than ever. So that's what I'm reaching out for right now. And yes, this too shall pass, but at what cost?
And I jump in here a little bit, Viviane. I'm feeling very much emotional about that because I feel accused. And I must say here, if you really want help, you need also to adjust your schedule. When you ask me to talk with you at 11 o'clock at night or at 6 o'clock in the morning, I won't do that because this is too much interfering in my schedule. So if we can find a time which is good for both, then it's okay. You have to also to give me the possibility to support you. Excuse me, but it's
absolutely. And please don't feel attacked. I'm not just talking about you, Heidi. There are people out there who have said to me that they want to be supportive and have not come through at all. It's not about you specifically. I did mention our time zones, and I'm not referring just to you. I mean, I had friends all over the world, including in France and in different places, and we're not able to get together because of logistics, like I don't have the time, I'm busy, and so on. And at the time that you can get together with me, I'm not available, and so on and so forth. And so please don't take this personally, Heidi. I'm referring to a whole slew of women that used to be a part of my support system. So,
okay, but I wanted to say it's only that you might be a little bit more open for your schedule, and not saying I cannot do that at this time and only on this time, which for us is difficult when we are living here in Europe. That's just my 2 cents on this. I'm hearing you and I would have liked to talk with you, but you know, not at 11 o'clock when I go to bed.
I agree completely, and I'm sorry if I came across that way. I am open also to whatever suggestions you have. So I was waiting to hear from you in terms of what time we could get together, and I would make that time. You know, for example, right now, I'm making the time to be with you guys, and that is right in the prime time of my work. You know, so if I know in advance, we're going to get together at 10 a.m. my time, which is what this is, and that you are available, I'm very open to that. I am flexible enough to say, okay, so what is 7 o'clock my time, or 6 o'clock my time is not available for you. So let's talk about what the possibilities are. You know.
I would like to interrupt because I think that is something we can talk about after the broadcast has ended, and not to interfere with what you're saying, but to give that room, and then we might look at our schedules and see what we can do, because now I would like to open it more like the subject to talk about, not the schedule. So
Okay, go ahead.
I'm a coach, and I'm training coaches in coaching. So and today I just come from one session. We have several sessions, and the first one is to have that basic appreciation. What is a stance of appreciation? And the second is self-appreciation is the basis. And this is like, we were talking about what does that mean, and always saying, coming back to, I need to do the work first. Sure, with support. It's not that everybody has to do it alone. No, not at all. That's why coaches are for. But to really get how much that is important, that I come from that place. And I just put in the perspectives that we created around that subject. And I would like to just, give it to you and I think everything we do, and that's what I started with, is crucial to come from that place, or always to come back to that place, to appreciate myself first, and then go out into the world, whatever that means, and whatever my mission is. And so that's my 2 cents. And I didn't want to cut you off. It's just that I felt talking about the schedule is not so. It needs to be talked about here in the broadcast.
I agree with you completely.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that intervention, Gertraud, to bring us back on topic. And I noticed that we have just under 5 minutes left in our time. And I would, well, first of all, I'd love to hear from Monika a little more, just because I recognize the rest of us have had some more airtime. And I'd love for us to put some pieces into what our next series might be, or some reflections on our time together and what we've been learning, just so that we can kind of wrap this 10-part series with some of what we intend and some of what we appreciate we've learned. I'll just take a couple of seconds and say that what I've learned is really how to become present with people that I don't necessarily know that well, and to practice my muscle of listening and responding as needed. And I really appreciate that. And into the future, I would love to have some conversations that feel more like taking action together, feel more like we're progressing through either a line of inquiry or into actions that we can take that can make a difference in our communities or in the world or in our relationships. And I'd love to invest some time into that together.
Thank you.
Okay, it's my turn now, I guess.
Yes.
3 points. I hope I can make it simple and fast. First of all, Viviane, I will tell you I'm so deeply with you. We all are so upset what has happened in your country where you are living right now, and it's some kind of feeling helpless, totally helpless. It's a total loss of power of might. What happened there? You know, there's nothing to do. It's just, it is as it is, and it is so hard to accept this. And what I experience is there are people, there are friends, ladies in the United States. They are building small communities and going to their governors and doing this and setting up a petition and whatever. I don't know whether they would be successful, but they are doing something. Maybe you are in an area, as you told us, that there is nobody around. You feel so alone, and that's a second point. I want to tell you I'm with you. I have made this experience on another area, not political, but for example, with since I'm on Google Plus very often in the social networks, I'm so inspired with the social networks and with the friends you find here and giving the back and forth and looking for help and finding help, and so that's. And there is one step more, that you should have those friends in real life. And that's what you are missing now so hard, and I feel with you. And maybe this is one point we are not able to support you because we are in digital life here, you know. We cannot support you in real life, but can give in this online life we are willing to do. That's for true. So let's keep up the community. Maybe let's meet weekly and without broadcasting or whatever. We can when the broadcast is at the end. And the third point is, yeah, really, that's from my heart. That's really from my heart. Well,
thank you.
The third point is your book, Heidi. You talked with the powers of anger. There were 5 points, and that's kind of crucial. I think I cannot recall all the 5 points, but the power of anger to feel it. Second, not to put it against yourself, and third, to turn it around and do something with it. So that's maybe a basis or basic point or recognition or whatever. I don't know the exact word, how to express it. That's where we could go steps forward. Where is our anger? We are angry about the political changes. And Viviane, it's not only over there, it's also in our European countries. So the tendencies are spread all over, and I guess it's some kind of fear and feeling helpless that lets people turn their opinion and go and look for a strong, powerful leadership. So we had this in our history and we do not want to have it again, but the tendencies are turning around all over the world.
Yes.
Unfortunately. So that was my 3 cents.
Thank you, Monika. I really, really appreciate your input. Thank you so much, because just from what you said, and what everybody has said, actually, I feel much more supported than I was before this call. I'm very careful about what I say, as I said before, but at the same time, I think it's pretty obvious how I feel. So I just would love to be able to stay in touch with you all outside of broadcasting. And that may not be feasible, Heidi. I don't know how you feel about that, because this is not something I'm putting up against you. I certainly respect you and appreciate you, resonated with you so much that I want to make sure that you feel okay about all this as well.
Yeah, it's okay. I would like to, you named broadcast, we are on a broadcast, and I wanted to acknowledge who is in the audience. And in the audience we have Roland Takaoka, and he has created this wonderful plug-in for the comments. And I see, Monika, you are already conversing with him, and it's really great. I sometimes have to switch around to find where is the last one coming up, because it's sort of hiding a little bit. But we have almost the same experience as we had before with event pages. So Roland, thank you.
So, let me just ask, Roland has invented this comment tracker for this event?
He and his son, they have done that.
Gorgeous. Huge shout out to Roland. That's awesome.
Isn't it?
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Really working wonderful.
Yeah. So, and coming to Viviane in response to that, yeah, this is clear. These podcasts, as we have projected them, they were for a different, and they are for a different goal. They are not for doing, let's say, emotional support between each other. This is should have a different place. So we can think about it. Oh, by the way, Monika, what is your idea about the next season, let's say, of Women Matters, and what was the learning? Thank you, Tammy, for introducing this before we go on.
Huh. Okay. You mean the next broadcast in 4 weeks?
No, when we begin again, you know, we have now 10, and they were more or less on the same topic. So, and Tammy has said she would like to go a little bit more into projecting some action, or like how can that be, while we were more into, let's say, interiority and exploring these things more, no? So if you don't have here now, it's just the possibility to say something. And first of all, about the past 10 broadcasts, what was there in for you? You seem to show up again, so something must have been for you.
Yeah. Are you talking about me?
So,
I'm sorry.
No, I'm talking about Monika.
Both of you.
I'm feeling inspired by talking to you, by talking with you, with all of you. And though I cannot name it exactly, but there is always one thing I take with me out of these conversations. Today I take the anger, that is possible to turn it around into something productive. That's a huge step for me. I don't know how you are handling with anger, but this aspect is a huge thing for me. And that's what I take with me. today.
For many women, is the problem, no? Because we weren't really allowed.
Yeah. They always feel responsible for everything what's happening around. Yeah.
Thank you. So, or Viviane or Gertraud, who feels come first?
Yeah, Viviane was, she might wrap up. You might wrap up with the projection, what you would like to the future.
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Well, as I mentioned before, I'm very reticent about broadcasting in general. I don't feel comfortable with it, so I probably will have to excuse myself from projected or from broadcast groups. But I very much like all of you and feel very in sync with all of you, and hearing that what is happening here is also being acknowledged in other countries. That's wonderful to hear. So I would like to stay in touch. I just don't know how to do it without, again, as I said, opening my mouth and inserting my foot in it. So that's my biggest quandary right now.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you. Gertraud?
Yeah, as Monika said, I'm inspired by talking to you. That's that's it. It has a value in itself.
Yeah.
And what I learned is to be just at ease with broadcasting. It's just having a real conversation with real people about real things and not thinking about that it is broadcasted, though I know it. So it's not that I just say things that I shouldn't in public, but it's kind of, yeah, living room conversations and having, I'm not cautious. I'm just saying whatever that might be appropriate now. And a year ago, or even half a year ago, you wouldn't get me on screen. So,
awesome.
So that's really a learning and a feeling of it's not dangerous. And maybe I would say differently if I would live somewhere else. So I really get that this is a different thing. And I think what we learned out of our history, and we see that in the Eastern part, it's a little bit different. It's really talking about what's happening. Talking about history, it's like, when I think about my history classes, it's like psychotherapy for the whole country, and really talking about that, not just saying, okay, that's only that's only the West to be blamed about the past. Yeah, not being quiet, not keeping it to ourselves, not ignoring it, but really talking about it. And that's what I think is in politics. It's in raising children, really naming things and talking about and being in conversation, being connected. And I think that is one of the things why in Germany, though it exists, but not in that big part than in other countries where people didn't talk about it, about fascism and whatever that might be. So I don't say we are immune, but we have a slight advantage because we address those things. And I didn't may I end with what I wrote into our chat, but it was not public, so nobody could read it. But I think still self-appreciation is the basis, and appreciation starts with myself. We are often our own biggest critics. Switch sides, become your biggest fan. And one sentence that is really, really, for me, it's very important. My contribution is important, because I always think like, I better go back and, you know, it does make a difference. It makes a difference in voting. It makes a difference in whatever. So to really know my contribution is important, because else can do it in the way I can do it if I'm authentic. And who am I really, and what do I want more of? That for me is not what I don't want, but to see what do I want more of, and to support this, because what you resist persists. So, I mean, like one fighting the other, the one who is the bigger fighter wins. So it's and they get power from the resistance. So what really to support what I really want more of, that is what I, and so I go with Tammy to say, okay, what do we want more of, and let's do that. Let's talk about it and do it.
Talking and broadcasting.
So
I have to apologize. I've turned my face over there to the side because I have the second screen running here with the comments of Roland Takaoka. Is it pronounced correctly? And he applauses to all of you for being here on the broadcast. Everybody is doing great, he says. And he's really a true friend here on the broadcast. He's gorgeous.
And thank you, ladies, and I wish you a wonderful time. Merry Christmas and a
Merry
wonderful
Christmas.
start of the new year, and then we see each other next year.
Thank you.
And I want to say something too at the end.
Okay.
I'm done. Now it's your turn.
Yeah, it's good because I'm always a little bit between moderator and participant. Yeah. So for me, the learning, first of all, I'm very grateful that you are here and that you are sticking to it. You know, this is, and I agree completely. I'm inspired. I go out and and what I really appreciate is the depth of wisdom which everyone has to share. All different perspectives on the same thing. You know, this is a learning which you cannot get out of books. It's just you need to talk with people. And in life, maybe it's better, but in this format, I think in many ways it's better because we can directly speak to it. We don't have first to make tea and then a bit talk about the dogs and talk about the children.
How's the fish?
Here we are directly on the topic. Also, if sometimes we may go to somewhere else, but you know, it is more concise and it's more focused. And I love it, and I love broadcast, and I love what you said, Gertraud, that after these many broadcasts, you find it easy. And, you know, this is exactly what my intention is, to tell people we can do it. I wouldn't have done that before we started. And the first broadcast we did, I was, you know, and I'm nervous as a singer go on stage, you know, it was like that. No, it's not becoming natural.
We didn't see this. You weren't nervous at all.
No, here not anymore. But I started almost 3 years ago with the first ones, you know. Then, or the Wisdom Factory, it was 2 years ago. I really was nervous, but really, because Wisdom Factory for me, it's a thing which is not just blah blah blah, but we go a little bit.
That's huge. Mm-hmm.
Really good enough, and all these things are coming up, you know. And then the technical issues and whatever. So I'm really grateful that we do this journey together. And what I would like in the future is yeah, to find a regular way of meeting. And apart from what we can do privately in a group without broadcasting, but have a regular broadcast, I don't know, once a month, and really collaborate also on the topics, so that I know what you want to talk about, and not that I have to find out, oh, what can we do next time? So that we are nearer to everybody's need or ideas, suggestions. I really would love to do that. And after the broadcast, we will talk about the modalities, and really thank you, great thank you to all of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and good holidays, you say political correct language, I say still Happy Christmas, because it's our culture here. We are so in Italy, we are so surrounded, also in Germany, in Christmas and holidays. So, you know, for me, my life Christmas was so important as a child, and I don't want to miss it. So, Happy Christmas and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
See
And Happy New Year.
Okay, bye-bye, everybody.
See you next year.
Next year, good.